Make sure you have the Node Wrangler add-on activated under the Preferences. In the Shading workspace, I use Shift-A and add a brick texture node. I connect the color output of the brick texture node to the base color input of the BSDF shader. Notice that the brick texture is working on the top and bottom of the cube, but it's stretched on the other sides of the cube. I can fix this problem by using Shift-A and adding a texture coordinate. I connect the UV output from the texture coordinate node to the vector input of the brick texture node. This fixes the initial problem, but I'm now left with very large bricks, and the orientation is wrong on some of the faces. I can fix this by tabbing into Edit mode and use the U key to open the UV mapping menu. Then I select Cube Projection. I now tab back into Object mode. I select a color for color 1. I select a color for color 2. I select a color for the mortar. To add texture to the bricks, I use Shift-A and add a noise texture node. If I select the noise texture node and use Ctrl-Shift left mouse button, I can see the noise texture. I can now change the scale to around 300. I reconnect the principled shader to the material output using Ctrl-Shift left mouse button. I make a note of the brick colors I set up. I connect the factor output of the noise texture to the color 1 and color 2 inputs of the brick texture. Now I can see the noise texture working, but I've lost the color. I add a color ramp node between the noise texture node and the color 2 of the brick texture. I select the white color stop and change the color. I use Shift-D to duplicate the color ramp and place it between the noise texture and the color 1 of the brick texture. I then select the white color stop and change the color. To add some noise to the mortar, I use Shift-D and duplicate the noise texture node. I connect the factor of the noise texture to the mortar input of the brick texture. I add a color ramp between the noise texture and the mortar. I change the black color stop to a lighter gray. I can now move the white and black color stops to adjust the noise texture. Now I need to add some displacement to the brick texture. I add a displacement node using Shift-A and connect it to the displacement input of the material output. I use Shift-A and add a normal map node. I connect the normal map to the normal input of the displacement node. I connect the color output of the brick texture to the color input of the normal map node. I can now change the strength of the normal map. To add some paint to the bricks, I use Shift A and add a Voronoi texture node. I use Control Shift left mouse button to view the texture. I'll change the feature to Smooth F1 and the scale to around 3. I select the principled shader and use Control Shift left mouse button to see the brick texture. I use Shift A and add a mix shader. I connect the Voronoi texture color output to the A input and the brick texture to the B input. I then connect the mix shader to the base color of the principled shader. I use Shift A and add a color ramp between the Voronoi texture and the mix shader and change the interpolation to constant. I can now use the white color stop to determine how much of the Voronoi texture will show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video about making a procedural bricks material in Blender, then you're probably interested in 3D modeling or texture art. So if you're interested in those topics, you may enjoy this video. Have a good day.